Plaquemines Council as sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District is now called to order. The machines are open for roll call.
354.
Let the record state that 8 commissioners are present, with Commissioner Kogovich being absent. Next item on the agenda.
Item 2, executive session. There is none. Item 3, status report by the executive port director.
Well, I forgot, we don't have. Okay, good afternoon, Commissioners. I guess good evening now will be in order. It's my pleasure to give an update on the port's priorities. Regarding our financials, including our 2023 financial audit, we submitted our response to the findings to the auditor yesterday, and we anticipate having a meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. To review those findings. You received our financials earlier this week. Those financials will be adjusted as the audit is finalized on the 30th. And we will, as soon as we get the adjusted numbers, we will send that out. We also anticipate a budget to actual meeting, looking to do that somewhere around the second week in August. So we'll have Harlan put some dates out there to see what works, and we'll get that meeting on the calendar. We've hit some substantial milestones for the container terminal. As you guys received over the weekend, the port received the raised grant of $7.4 million from DOT for the Peters Road, Walker Road Bridge. That's a huge win for us. This grant also allocates about $677,000 for administrative fees for us to administer that contract. And that also includes legal fees, as we discussed. And we have a coordination meeting scheduled already for July the 18th with the parish, and Jacob Rowe will participate in that meeting. And so we look forward to moving that along. Today, we will ratify or vote on 2 Piano Key properties. We will also, let me back up. We also progressed on Peters Road. The Union Pacific is nearing completion of some contract negotiations with a consultant. And once they finish those negotiations, they're going to sign a contract with Gretna, and then they will actually start some of the on-the-ground work. CSRS is moving forward, collecting survey data. So that project is moving forward, and the mayor of Gretna is ready to sign that contract with the UP and their consultant. So that project is moving forward. We do have the Sustainability Partners Agreement in front of the commission now. We are going to defer that. It is, it does have a 16% increase in the costs. I put that in an email last week, and I'd like to sit down and answer any questions on, you guys may have on what that increase included, but I did put that in the summary in that email that I sent. And I'd also like to point out that this week, we did come to some milestones with our contracts and agreements. We did sign the Palmer Agency rebranding agreement, so that is out. We've already had our first meeting. We did sign the contract for the 5 Deepwater Ports market study, so that is out. The Deep South contract award for Point LaHash Ferry Landing Emergency Repair is at the point of being executed right now. We're just waiting for that to be returned. And then we also sent the bareboat charter to RTA. Unfortunately, they were unable to get it on their agenda for their board meeting tomorrow, so it's going to go on their board meeting for July. And it appears that they may even get their boat back in July. But they want to go forward, go ahead and execute the agreement. And then we have a meeting scheduled with the RTA next week to talk about, not only the agreement, but also talk about doing some things together in the future. And then I'd just like to remind everybody that the Pride is still scheduled to go in the yards in September. So Mr. Brown and his team, will be working diligently to ensure that we have 2 ferries covering those peak hours to make sure that we have minimal impact while the Pride is in the yard. Because I think we all recognize that she holds about twice the vehicles as the other 2. And we've been doing really well, during the rush hours and moving the traffic. And we're going to make sure that we continue to try to manage that. And that concludes. Oh, I'm sorry, I did. I missed the Venture Global lease. We actually executed the Venture Global lease, 584 acres, so that is actually executed. And that concludes my comments.
Do you have anything from anybody else on your staff, Director? Nothing. Any comments from the audience? Please state your name and address.
Arthur Henry Belchase. You stated that you just did the Venture Global lease, so that's another Venture Global plant being initiated there, or what? Is that a new lease for a new plant?
Yeah, Ms. Henry, that's correct, yes.
That's what the people need to know. Got to deal with all that traffic again, but that's what the people need to know.
No, Mr. Henry, executing the lease doesn't mean that anything's happening. They just secured for future development.
I understand that, but we said that 15 years ago. Look at the traffic we got in Belchase now.
Thank you. Any? Sir, I don't recognize you, so please say your name and address.
Yes, sir. Mr. Clarence Brox, 156 Enos Camerland. I just want to know, is the lease going to be on East Bank or the West Bank?
West Bank.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. I was just kidding. Any questions or comments from the table? Commissioner Schultz.
Yes, can we put signs on the ferry route further down the line? Because I'm getting a lot of complaints that people don't know about getting all the way up to the deckhand and then having to turn around, or getting in the line and turning around. With the new rate, I saw somebody behind me on the way here actually give $1, and they're like, no, it's $2 now, and they had to scramble to find an extra $1. So if we could put signs further down where people are waiting in line, where they're aware.
Commissioner McCarty.
Are there signs? Because we had talked about signs, but while I was waiting, I didn't see any sign along the path. Say like in the fenced area in Belchase, up to where he takes the money, I didn't see any kind of sign saying, so
Yeah, we
Where
have
is it?
signs that have been ordered, and we're just waiting
Oh.
for them to come in. And we have signs on the right-hand side as you're coming up the ferry road, and on the fence. But we also have more.
okay, I couldn't see because there was vehicles on the right-hand side.
And your point is well taken, because the signs are small, so we'll
Yeah.
make sure that we get more.
Yeah, something 4x8. Thank you.
Commissioner Edwards.
Yeah, and I know we talked, Mr. Brown, but can you give us an update on what's happening with the stickers? Because a lot of people asking when can they get the stickers and when can they expect the stickers?
I'll provide that update in email to the whole commission tomorrow. So we'll have a detailed plan on where's everything at currently, and I'll include where the signs are as well.
Any other questions?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's it.
Okay, next item on the agenda.
4, bids and advertisements. There are none. 5, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following Legislation is for Commissioner Champagne. An ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to assume the lease between the Plaquemines Parish Government and Plaquemines Land Ventures LLC and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to purchase land owned by David Risciotto and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance authorizing Charles D. Tillotson, Executive Director of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to enter into agreement with T. Baker Smith LLC for biological, cultural, and survey assessments of Parcel 1, Tract DR-2A, located in Plaquemines Parish, and to amend the 2024 Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District operating expenditure budget, General Operations Division, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And that's it.
Thank you. And before we move on to the next item, I'd like to go through the items that will be deferred. Item 6B, 6C, 6D, 6E, 6F, and 6K. And I'll say it one more time. 6B is in boy, 6C is in cow, 6D is in dog, 6E is in Eskimo, 6F is in fox, and 6K is in kilo. Oh, I know the military one. That would be Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Fox, and Kilo. Next item on the agenda, please.
6, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 6A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 1, an ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to purchase land owned by Reynold P. Thompson and Maya F. Thompson, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer and ask for a second. Seconded by Commissioner Gui. Any comments from the floor? From the table? Machines are open. Commissioner Edwards? And it passes 8-0. Next item.
2, an ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to purchase land owned by Danny K. Fisher and Linda R. Fisher, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer and ask for a second.
Second.
Second from Commissioner McCarty. Any comments from the floor? From the table? Machines are open. And it passes 8-0. Next item.
G, an ordinance to amend the 2024 Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District operating expenditure budget, land acquisition division, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer and ask for a second. Second from Commissioner McCarty. Any comments from the floor? From the table, Commissioner Newsom?
And we're moving to the land acquisition from, it's probably in here somewhere.
Yeah, right in the digest.
It's actually from the land fund to the land acquisition division.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other comments from the table? Machines are open. Okay, no bad questions. And it passes 8-0. Next item.
H, a resolution authorizing the Executive Director of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to extend the current agreement for professional service with Dwyer, Cambry, and Suffern to assist the port with land acquisitions and provide legal services, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer. Ask for a second. Second from Commissioner McCarty. Any comments from the floor? From the commissioners? Commissioner Jurisich?
Yes, and what are we at?
Yeah, I don't mind. Hueyman.
Sorry.
So what are we agreeing to again? This is for land acquisitions?
It's 6 months for everything that's working right now, so that does include the land acquisitions.
What else is working?
So they have also been assisting with the SP, the 11-mile extension, the concession. There's not any real work happening with that right now, but we are
But
executing.
we're paying for it.
There's no billable hours against it right now because we're not doing anything with it right now.
So we pay by the hour.
We pay by the hour. That's correct.
Contract is just to reserve them, keep them on hand.
That's correct. So if we,
Not like we could just use them when we need them.
we can use them when we need them to, if questions come up
Without a
about that
contract.
agreement.
Maybe we can explore other options as well, too. Be competitive.
I mean, my only concern now is, I mean, there are a lot of legal challenges out there in front of us, and without having a legal counsel on staff, I would prefer to keep this in place for 6 months, and, you know, to make sure that we protect the port's interests. I clearly understand that, you know, we've agreed that we're going to go out and do an RFP, but I think the extenuating circumstances with Ms. Falls departing on such short notice, we just need some adjustment time if that's possible.
Commissioner McCarty?
Okay, I understand this is for land acquisition, and that's why I seconded it. I'm not in favor of just using this firm for all purposes that come across, because I was trying to bring forth an introduction a while back for another firm for multiple purposes, that they include maritime attorneys and labor attorneys, et cetera. So I just wanted to make that clear. And I was asked not to bring that forward before. So I think we need to interview for attorneys for other purposes.
I'm not going to dispute that. I mean, the only thing that I request of the commission is anything that we have working right now. These things have been working for years. There's a lot of institutional legal knowledge tied to it, and to try to start over could put the port in jeopardy. So what I would request, we can continue everything that we're doing, and then we can explore looking at other legal support. And we can put that on our agenda for the Monday morning meeting.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes, 6 months ago, we extended it for 6 months with the agreement that we were going to go out for RFP. We should have done that a month ago to where we had options where before this contract expired. But my understanding was we were going to go month to month to wrap up what's ongoing, but I don't like the land acquisition and other. I mean, that's very vague. I know you said SP, but it's very vague. And I just want to make sure we're everything we've done since we've taken office, we've gone out for RFP, make sure we're getting the best price and service. And yet now I understand Ms. Foss left, but for the current stuff, I agree. It goes month to month, finish up what we have. But why can't we do an RFP for any future possible work? And if they're the best price, best service, then stick with them. I just want to make sure we're getting the best bang for the buck.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and we were definitely in agreement to do that, but the loss of counsel of Ms. Falls definitely changed the circumstances. I don't have the legal expertise that she had, and that's become very apparent to me in the past week. And so what I'd like to do is just, for everything that we're doing, if we could just keep it in place, anything that we're going to do new, we can put it on hold. We can look at putting out an RFP, and we can look at other sources, but I just don't want to put us in jeopardy.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yeah, I had some of the same concern, is that prior to Ms. Frost leaving, we know this was coming to this with this company. My concern is the other stuff other than land acquisition is so vague. I'm wondering, do we have to do 6 months? Can we do 3 months and still put a RFP out to get someone to come in and consider maybe the firm that Patty was talking about? Because I still think that Marathon is very important in what we're doing. So I'm wondering, can we just change this to say 3 months and define what others is.
If we, I could agree to,
I recommend we don't, only because I don't want to, we don't have to use them. After 3 months, we're done. If we do an RFP and get more, we select another group. We need to get several to come to the table, we select them. They run out. They're only on an as-needed basis. We got them there if we need them. If we have a lingering problem with one of the existing properties that they've been working on, they're there. They're on retainer essentially. But I don't want to have to come back in 3 months, oh, we still need to keep them around because we still have this one piece of property we're working on. Let's keep them. If we don't need them, they fade away. And let's do an RFP bring some other firms to the table, and we'll pick the best one. The best one will come to the top, and we'll make it a wise choice and move forward. I don't want to slow down our momentum because we've been doing a great job as a collective organization and moving the ball forward with this board. And I agree, everything you guys are saying, or,
That's why I say 3 months rather than just saying not at all, doesn't say we need to have something.
well,
So let's do 3 months up to 6 months, and we shouldn't take more than 3 months to get somebody else in.
yeah, I respectfully disagree, but again, Ms. McCarty, you're up.
Mr. Garrett, is it not effectively the same difference between month to month and a 6-month contract? Whereas if at the end of each month we sign to go forward, or we just retain them? I mean, is there a difference between having somebody for 3 months, 6 months, or even just month to month?
Well, and I haven't seen the actual contract, but it sounds like it's an hourly task contract.
Yeah.
Similar to mine. I mean,
Correct.
the other side, y'all don't want me anymore, you just don't task me with anything. Same sort of thing. So I think the only thing that 6 months gets you is they are agreeing to be available for that 6-month period.
Yeah, they just know we might want them. It doesn't
If you
mean.
go month to month, it could be a situation where at the end of the month, they say, look, we no longer want to keep doing that. If you do the 6 months, it's actually obligating them to be available for the next 6 months at the rates that they quoted in their contract.
Okay.
But it does affect, how much you pay them is, as I appreciate, only going to be based upon what you task them with and how many hours they bill.
Okay, I would like to move to strike the word "other" from this and use them only for land acquisition, and we can look at another company to do other things, just so that we know exactly what they would be doing and they don't start doing something that we're not aware of.
can I ask for a compromise and change that to any existing work that they're doing? Because if something
Well,
comes
that's
up with
land
the SP
acquisition they're
contract.
doing, right?
But SP is different. So if we say land and any existing work that they have going.
Okay.
Commissioner Schultz?
So I want, that's fine, I'm okay with that, because like any existing work, because I noticed in lines 20 and 21, we have in here, okay, it ends in December 31, 2024, and we have the option to consider 2 one-year contract extension. I don't want to get into the same situation of, all right, they're currently working on this, but now we just task them with a new, completely different project, and now they're working on it already, we don't want to restart. So
Right.
I'm fine with if we go with any existing project and then put out an RFP. Let's see what's there. And if they're the best, then we'll keep them. I don't have a problem with keeping them if they're the best price and everything like that. So I'm fine with if we want to do any existing work.
And I add something? What I like what Mr. Garrett said is, by putting that 6-month thing, if it takes, we lock in the rate.
Yeah.
We lock in the rate and the commitment, and to speak to Commissioner Edwards, I want to keep that rate, lock them in. If we don't need them, we might not need them. If we do the RFP ASAP, we may not need them for anything new. After this, we're done, and they can finish up the stuff in a month, then we're done.
Yeah, I'm fine with the 6 months. It's just, I want to, because the and other, or how it was phrased, basically you can add anything to them, and then 6 months from now, well, they're currently working on that, but they weren't currently right now. So if we say any existing, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And then we can move forward 6 months from now and then put out an RFP 2-3 months from now. And if we don't have an inside person, I'm fine with that, doing it that way.
Okay, I'd just like to add, one more thought for the commission. If you remember, we just executed the Venture Global lease. So the clock is ticking for us to finalize everything that we're doing with the other properties. Yeah, but the point is that if, we have a little over a year to get that done, and if we try to change courses before, it could put us at risk There's a lot of institutional knowledge that's there.
Yeah, I'm trying to
And I just want to make sure the commission is aware that that Venture Global lease, us going to the next phase depends on us finalizing all of this legal work, for that land. Okay.
Can someone explain to me where they see the word other in this legislation? What line?
Yeah, I'm looking forward too. I don't see other anywhere. I'm lost. What line is that, please?
Line 7, it's in the document. Oh, and line 11.
Yeah, but that's,
Provide legal counsel services. It's so big, what does the actual contract say? And that's when he said, land acquisition.
So would you like to say legal service and legal counsel and services on existing?
Existing or something, I don't know. I'm fine with that, we don't have to
Okay.
change the ordinance, just.
Yeah. But I think that's the intent. That's the intent, and I agree.
Right.
Director, I would offer that we need to put out an RFP. We need to discuss it at the meeting on Monday and get this out ASAP to meet the will of the commissioners here and get this moving forward so we can select of the pool of applicants the best legal team. Commissioner Edwards?
My piece said, move immediately with the RFP. That's what my concern is. That we don't wait on that.
I'm sorry, say again?
That we don't wait, that we move immediately, put an RFP out.
Right, so we'll discuss it Monday, we'll get it prepared, we'll get it to the secretaries, and it'll be out for introduction. It'll move as quick as our process can make it move. Commissioner Jurisic?
Yes, my biggest thing is, it seems like we just automatically keep renewing contracts. When we see something ending, we should be looking, we should put it out to have other people come in before the expiration of this contract. We just automatically keeping the same people. It just looks like we locked in here. So I would suggest, if we move forward with what we're suggesting, that before the next 6 months is up, we need to have somebody else. We need to be able to make, we need to be able to make, look and get these other ones in and see. If they're the best fit, I'm fine, but they got to prove themselves every time. And I do agree, things are happening, and you don't want to put a freeze on things, because you put a freeze, you slow down. But it just looks to me, like I don't want to call it certain things, but it looks like it's hard to let people go sometimes. For what reasons? That's all.
Commissioner Gui?
Just a clarification on line 27 and 28, it talks about entering into a one-year professional services. I think the language should say to extend for 6 months.
Yes.
That way it's consistent with the whereas clause. So if we could make that change, line 27 to delete, and I'll offer it as an amendment to
We can do it,
27 to delete.
do it as a typo.
Got it?
typo.
Typo's good with me. I'm off.
Any other comments from the table? The machines are open.
Typo.
And it passed 8-0. Next item.
I, an ordinance authorizing Executive Director Charles D. Tillotson of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to enter into a 6-month professional services contract with Glow Resources to assist in staffing maritime positions, including but not limited to ferry captains as deemed necessary by the port. Both parties will have the option to consider one 6-month contract extension and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
So offer and ask for a second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Newsom. Any comments from the floor? Commissioner Schultz?
I don't have a problem with this. It's just, I want some clarification. This is the 6-month extension. We signed or are we entering in a 12-month? Because it says 12 months, it's 12 months some places, 6 months some places. I know when we voted on it 6 months ago, it was 6 months plus a 6 months extension, because that's what civil service agreed to.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it because we need it, but I just want clarification on that.
It is 6 months. It
Okay.
is the same contract for
Okay, so
ferry
we're just
captains
doing
and
the
engineers.
6-month extension. And I guess we need to, again, start now, figuring out before 6 months gets here, how we're gonna solve the problem of I know we talked about special rates and stuff like that for
That's right.
captains, but
We don't have a date set with civil service
Yeah.
for next month yet, but that's definitely on our agenda. But I'd like to advise the commission that if we lose this service, we lose that second ferry that we run during rush hour.
Commissioner, how many applications have we had via civil service for ferry captains? Zero.
We've had 0 for ferry captains and engineers because the pay is too low. That's why we took the special interest rate.
Just wanted the public to understand on the.
Right, and the parish is experiencing the same challenge with operators, where they're just not getting people that are willing to come in.
and that's the problem. When we have the discussion with civil service, can we also add to that possibly doing this longer term with low? That way, obviously, this is working for us. We're running the ferry in the morning, 2 ferries and all. This is working for us. Yet we don't get any applicants. So maybe saying, okay, this is going to be our long-term solution, at least for next year or two, until we can figure something out.
Yeah,
So make sure we bring that up to civil
Okay,
service.
thank you. That's actually the second item on the agenda. So we're looking for, we think we need to have at least a 1-year agreement, try to do the special interest rate to get the pay up. Mr. Brown has had some discussions with a couple of people that, I mean, they're willing to come to work for civil service, but the rate has to be higher. So it's really kind of between the two, it's a symbiotic relationship. I think if we can get a year and we can work on getting the rate up, we may very well be able to solve the problem in-house with civil service.
Any other comments from the table? Machines are open. And it passes 8-0. Next item.
An ordinance authorizing Executive Director Charles D. Tillotson of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to enter into a 12-month professional services agreement with Rockwood Steel to provide grant administration services and otherwise provide with respect thereto Commissioner Champagne.
I offer and ask for a second.
Has
We have
changes.
changes. On line 32 and on line 48, $50,000 is being removed and $100,000 is being added. Lines 32 and 48.
What's the replacement?
100,000. I offer with changes. Ask for a second. Second from Commissioner McCarty. Director Tillotson, can you contextualize this a bit? And also, I'd like you to speak to the cost per grant application, when we talked about the 14K.
Right.
The glide path we're looking at of the number of 6, and kind of shape that cost and to understand, and speak to the successes we've had with Rockwell Steel.
Yes. I think the first thing that I would like to point out is that Rockwood Steel was successful in getting us $18.5 million in '23 for replacing the Point LaHash ferry landings, both sides. So we will have new infrastructure based on their efforts. This year, the $7.4 million grant we received, they're also responsible for that. The moving forward in the contract, there were some questions that went back and forth about the rate of $14,000 per grant. What I'd like to point out is that Rockwood Steel has a group of grant writers that are academians, and they are very good at what they do and putting grants together. And in the last 12 months, what they've done with us is they've really taken, all of the data that we have for everything that we need, every project that's in our critical infrastructure plan, they have the data that's needed to put beneficial cost analysis together. So anything that they do moving forward, they will be able to be very successful. They've met on behalf of us with the Department of Transportation in Washington, D.C. They have them, in their contact list, so they know Rockwood Steel. And then I think the other piece is we would like to also, and it's in the contract, to use them when it's available for contract administration or for grant administration. So they will actually administer the grant, and there's a fee that's in that contract to administer the grant. And some of these grants, it could be easy, it could be done in a year. Some of them, it could go on for 3 or 4 years. So I think that it's very important to have a professional services group that has a winning track record on board, one, to go after those grants, and two, to be able to help us to administer those grants, to keep, keep all of our files and records straight. The other piece is we also have a mechanism to create a CEA with the parish, to allow the parish to use this service as well. And I'd like to just point out, the RAISE grant that we just received is for the Walker Road Bridge, which is, it's really a parish function, and it's under a parish contract with BKI. But the reason the port went after the funding was the bridge fit in port funding, which I will tell you, in 2023, there was $27 billion of port-related grant funds out there. So we have a good group here. They have a really good winning track record. We have the ability to tie this relationship with the parish to help us to make sure that, we're very successful in our grant asks. And the last thing I'd like to add, when you look at our critical infrastructure plan that we put out, we really need to be going after a minimum of $50 million worth of grants for the port over the next 5 years, to be successful in what we want to do. And it is very doable, but we have to have a good program in place.
Thank you. Before we go on, Commissioner Newsom pointed out something, Kim, on line 67, we need to make that change from 50,000 to 100,000 as well.
Thank you.
6-7.
You're welcome.
I said thank you. Oh, yeah. Any comments from the audience?
Parish Blocks, 156, Enos Campbell Land. I just heard, I think he must tell us and answer my question. I want to know, can the parish use these grant writers to get some pumping stations?
I'll answer. I know that they are the parish administration is engaging with Rockwell Steel on a separate contract, but we're also working with them with a cooperative agreement as well. Not necessarily pumps unless it pertains directly to the port. But one of the things you mentioned, we are working with them for the booster pump station as well. That all as a result. That's a result of that CEA. So they've done good things for us.
All right. Well, if you could, please get us. The parish can't afford our pumping station for District 1, evidently. But if they could get a grant for them, we need to start looking forward to trying to do something for us.
So
Commissioner Schultz?
we did, on the parish side, pass revenue bonds and a loan for pumping stations, and some of that did go to the East Bank pumping stations, and we appropriated like $1.2 million of the leftover courthouse funds to the pumping station. It's just some of those plans, it's in engineering and takes some time to go. I understand the concern that 50% doesn't sound good, but there is money for the pumping stations on the East Bank. I'm sure Mr. Edwards can elaborate more and give you the exact information, the numbers, but we did do that last year.
If y'all tell me these things, I won't be coming up here and telling y'all the same thing over and over and over and over. So I don't want to live nowhere else. I'm telling you, I could go anywhere I want to live, but I don't want to live nowhere else.
Mr. Brock, I wish that was the truth. I'm available, and that's why I asked you earlier, if you get together and put your name on the list with Kim to give you the agenda, you look at the agenda, I'm willing to help you so you won't continue to be standing up here confused about most of the things, that I could help you with your confusion if you just come to me and I can help you with your, so I hope after the day, we'll do that, and then you can get all the answer to it. But I want to get back to Charles. I really want to commend you for extending that collaboration with Rockwood Steel. And, we talked about it after our town hall meeting. I think there would really benefit to pair, not only just with pumping station, but other things that we're doing. So I think it would be a great thing to do.
All right.
And I also want to commend Rockwood Steel for being a great grant writer, because the fruit is in the pudding. The pudding
It's still.
I think we still doing the public, right? We didn't go to the, but, I'm not good at this. This is not my specialty. I got many skills, you not believe it,
Mr. Brock, we appreciate you participating in this process. We really do.
right? But I'm not good at it. I'm sorry that
Just being here is good enough, and we appreciate you being here, sir.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McCarty?
Mr. Brock, just to put it in perspective, I just wanted to let you know that District 5 pumps out all of Belle Chase. And we have one pump that's been missing for over 20 years. It's at 66%, which I'm happy about. But if one of those pumps goes out, then we also have a problem. So I just wanted to let you know it's not only the West Bank. Okay, thank you. East Bank, I'm sorry. Yeah, I understand.
Any other comments from the floor? Any other comments from the table? Machines are open. And it passes 8-0. Next item.
L, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements proposal for the engineers Baptiste Colette deepening design project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer and ask for a second. Seconded by Commissioner Jurisic. Any comments from the floor?
Arthur Henry, Belle Chase. What this for, design and engineering or
No, this is factual dredging.
for dredging? Okay. We don't see any of that. You know what I'm saying? You get people to guess, you know? That's why I gotta get up and say things.
Appreciate you being here. And I echo what Commissioner Elwood says. If you have any questions during the week, feel free to call any of us. I'd love to sit down with you and go over some of this stuff. Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Mr. Brock, sure? And from the table? Machines are open. Commissioner Edwards?
We're voting.
And the item passes 8-0. Next item.
M, a resolution authorizing Executive Director Charles D. Tillotson of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to move forward with continuing legal efforts in securing the property owned by Tuan Nguyen and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Champagne.
I offer. As second from Commissioner McCarty. Any comments from the floor? From the table? Machines are open. And the item passes 6 in favor, 1 abstention, and 1 against. All right, next item.
7, new business. 7A, introduction of resolutions where a suspension is being sought. 7A1, a resolution to declare Friday, July 5th, 2024 as an approved holiday for Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District employees and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
All right, I offer for the suspension. Seconded from Commissioner Jurisic. All right, machines are open. And the suspension is approved, 8-0. And again, can you just do a quick recap on the resolution?
A resolution to declare Friday, July 5th, 2024 as an approved holiday for Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District employees and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I offer. Seconded by Commissioner Jurisic. Can we get a unanimous second? Look like we got a unanimous second.
For you.
Comments from the floor? Machines are open.
I didn't know he was Commissioner Schultz.
And it passes 8-0.
Hey, you ain't gotta go to work Friday.
Next item on the agenda.
Approval of the June 13th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Offered by Commissioner Champagne, seconded by Commissioner Newsom. Machines are open. Dr. Gui. Bueller. All right. And it passes 8-0. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So, motion by Commissioner Jurisic, seconded by Commissioner LaFrance. Machines are open.
Well, thank you.
We all got it.
Commissioner Jurisic,
Mr. George,
are you in a hurry or not?
you in a hurry or not?
And it passes 6 in favor, 2 against. This concludes the Plaquemines Port Harbor Terminal District meeting. And it ended at 4:40 PM.